With DreamHack Dallas concluded and the inaugural year of the Overwatch Champions Series being halfway through, eyes are starting to turn to the next major tournament, the Esports World Cup. The Esports World Cup is a tournament being held in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, featuring competition in games such as Apex Legends, Counter-Strike 2, Fortnite, and many more. The Overwatch portion of this tournament will feature 16 teams from around the world with a prize pool of $1 million. Welcome to Tank Talk, where today I will be talking about the teams that have been locked in for the Esports World Cup. Unlike past Overwatch World Cups, where each nation was represented by a single team composed entirely of players from that country, the Esports World Cup features a more flexible format. Nations can be represented by multiple teams, and those teams don't need to be made up solely of players from the same country. Performance in the Overwatch Champions Series determined many of the teams that would compete, with the top 2 teams from the North America and EMEA region, as well as the top 4 teams from Asia earning spots. Since a team from Asia won DreamHack Dallas, an additional 5th slot was allocated to the region. A slot was also reserved for a China invite team, as players from China were excluded from OWCS and had no other qualification route. The remaining competition slots were filled by teams determined by FACEIT qualifiers. This included 3 teams from both Europe and North America, as well as the top team from the South America and Oceania region. The first series of competition within the Esports World Cup is the group stage. The 16 teams have been split into 4 groups of 4 who will battle it out in round-robin matches. The best performing team earns a bye from the playoffs, in which the second and third place teams will have to fight for their chance to remain. The worst performing team from each group will be eliminated from the tournament entirely. Group A will be composed of Crazy Raccoon, Game & Gladiators, Loaded, and Toronto Ultra. Crazy Raccoon, formerly known as WAC, is the reigning champion of DreamHack Dallas. Their roster is a combination of proven veterans and rising talent, featuring Junbin and Max on tank, Lip and Heesang on DPS, and Shu and Chorong on support. Crazy Raccoon is one of the most dominant Overwatch teams of all time, and features incredible world-class talent in every single role. Game & Gladiators, formerly known as Team Peps, features a mix of well-known and rising European talent. Featuring Tread on tank, Zyodiel and Naga on DPS, and FD God, Level 1 Crook, and Yoham on support, this team definitely has an uphill climb, but its players have shown that they are eager to win and will work as hard as possible to make it happen. Loaded is the top team from FACEIT South America. Composed almost entirely of players from Brazil, the team features Connie and Neil on tank, Nitrow, Lucas 42G and Sloth on DPS, and Scarion and Froki on support. South America has historically been a very weak region in professional Overwatch, and as such, even the region's strongest team is entering the competition with almost no expectations. Any success the team has will be unexpected, but the team will doubtlessly do their best to prove themselves. The final team competing in Group A is Toronto Ultra, formerly known as the Toronto Defiant. The team features someone on tank, Merit and Sugarfree on DPS, with RuPaul and Vega on support. This team has consistently been at the top of North America, and no one else has come close to taking their spot. They have faced trouble against teams from Europe and Asia, however, and will need to show that they have what it takes to go far in this tournament. From Group A, Crazy Raccoon is the obvious favorite to not just advance from the group stage with a bye, but to win the entire tournament. Toronto Ultra and Game & Gladiators should comfortably be able to advance to the playoff stage, with the Ultra proving to be the better team of the two. Loaded will be eliminated from the tournament, and it would be surprising to see them win any maps, much less any of their matches. Group B will be composed of LGD.OA, Team Falcons, The Great Showmen, and Twisted Minds. LGD.OA, formerly known as Once Again, is the Chinese invite team. The members of this roster have all played together on the Hangzhou Spark in the Overwatch League, as well as represented China in the 2023 Overwatch World Cup. The team features Gushui on tank, Leave and Shy on DPS, and Monk and Langsa on support. We have not seen many players from China play recently due to their exclusion from OWCS, but if these players can pick up where they left off, then this team is definitely capable of achieving a top 4 finish. Team Falcons is a Saudi-owned organization that boasts some of the most respected players the world has ever seen. The roster includes Smurf and Hanbin on tank, Proper and Stalker on DPS, and fielder Sir Majed and Shio on support. Having achieved a second-place finish at DreamHack Dallas, their skill all but guarantees them a top 2 finish overall. The Great Showmen are the highest-rated team from the FACEIT Oceanic Division. The team is a mix of Australian and Korean players, and features Punk on tank, Nu and Top Dragon on DPS, and Aki, Opener, and Color Hex on support. The popularity of the players on this team earns them a lot of fans, but they will have to put on quite a performance in this tournament to show that they belong. The final team in the group is Twisted Minds. Once a team competing for the top spot in Europe, they have been struck by a series of management overhauls and roster changes that have left them in a much weaker position. The team features TVNT on tank, Quartz, Yubi, and LBBD7 on DPS, and Crispy, Vigilante, and Bliss on support. This team may yet be able to put up a decent fight, but it's undoubtedly a shame considering how powerful of a force they once were. Out of Group B, Team Falcons will advance with the best record and receive a bye, while LGD.OA and Twisted Minds will be advancing to the playoffs. LGD.OA could prove to be even better than expected, but it's hard to know having not seen any of the players compete for such a long time. The Great Showmen will be eliminated from the tournament, but may have a close match against Twisted Minds. Group C may be the most competitive of the tournament, and features Bleed Esports, ENCE, M80, and Zeta Division. Bleed Esports, formerly known as DAF Esports, is the only team from the Asia region not representing Korea. The team is primarily composed of players from Thailand, along with representation from Japan, Australia, and Singapore. The roster features Dank and Clear on tank, High Vision and Ace on DPS, and Polly, Ebang, and Lumi on support. The main strength for this team will come from their DPS line. Ace is an incredibly flexible player with a deep hero pool, and High Vision has some insane mechanical talent on the hit scan role. ENCE features multiple names familiar to fans of the Overwatch League, and qualify for the Esports World Cup as the second best European team at DreamHack Dallas. Since OWCS, however, the team has had a number of roster changes. The team features Chase, Mirror, and Vestola on tank, Kai, Maimone, and Kevster on DPS, and Skyripa and Rakatak on support. So far, they have been stuck as second best in Europe, but time will tell if their new players will allow them to be a real contender. M80 is a team that has struggled with constantly changing players, but their current roster may be the strongest yet, featuring Kaluj on tank, Tree and Spectra on DPS, and Liar and Ultraviolet on support. While they have been competitive in North America, they have fallen short in every international matchup they've had. Time will tell if this retooled roster can finally lead them to some success. The final team of Group C is Korean Team Zeta Division, formerly known as From the Gamer. Their roster is made up of Bernard and Fearless on tank, Flora and Alpha Yi on DPS, and Finn and Violet on support. Many of the team's players have proven themselves to be true top-tier players, especially Bernard on tank and Flora on hitscan. Add in the veteran leadership of players like Violet and the new signing of Fearless, and you have a team eager and able to win it all. Zeta Division is all but guaranteed to be the best team in this group, advancing with a bye, but the other 3 teams could shake out in almost any order. ENCE is most likely second place, but it could really go either way for whether M80 or Bleed Esports ends up getting eliminated. Given the past performances of the teams, however, M80 is more likely to be eliminated. Group D is made up of the remaining 4 teams: Fnatic, NTMR, Space Station Gaming, and Virtus Pro. Fnatic, formerly known as Yeti, is a fan-favorite team whose roster has grown considerably. The team features Donghak and Attack on tank, Knife, Viper, and Checkmate on DPS, and a new backline of Izayaki and Lee Jae-gon. Fnatic has always been a team with incredible peaks, and all of the new signings should address their past issues lacking flexibility. Combine that newfound flexibility with their new championship-winning support line, and Fnatic should be a definite contender for a top 4 finish. NTMR, formerly known as Timeless, is a scrappy team that has had some success, but was recently struck by the issue of having to find themselves an emergency tank player. The roster now consists of Infected on tank, Seeker and Zera on DPS, and Admiral and ZSS on support. Even under perfect conditions, this roster would struggle against their opponents, and having to overcome their recent difficulties only makes this struggle even more difficult. Space Station Gaming, formerly known as We Spitfire, has a core primarily made up of players from the Overwatch League's London Spitfire team. Featuring Hottie on tank, Backbone, Psycho, and Sparker on DPS, and Landon and Funny Astro on support, the team qualified as the #1 North American/European team at DreamHack Dallas. Space Station Gaming are definitely a team to watch out for, and could even be a contender for a top 4 placement in the Esports World Cup. The final team to discuss is Virtus Pro. This European team features Rajaro on tank, Shockwave, Cloud, and Sauna on DPS, and Gala and Canale on support. Many of these players were members of Team Finland in the 2023 Overwatch World Cup, where they won 2nd place, but so far this roster has struggled to achieve any major accomplishments. If they are able to rally their energy, they could be a surprisingly strong team to face. Fnatic is the favorite to emerge as the first place team in Group D, but Space Station Gaming is a very strong team who can never be counted out. NTMR will almost certainly be the team that is eliminated, as SSG and Virtus Pro go on to compete in playoffs. And those are all of the teams competing in the Esports World Cup. After the group stage, only 12 will remain, with 8 teams having to fight for their life in playoffs. Which teams and matchups are you most excited to watch, and who do you believe will be the strongest competitors? This was Tank Talk, and thank you for watching.